Today we're going to be talking about why people don't want kids and why we didn't have kids right away.
Welcome back to your Couple Tea Podcast. It's your boy Josh.
And it's your girl Katie. And before we get started, make sure you guys give us a good review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. You kind of threw me off with the title there, honestly. Like I had to pause for a second because I'm like, wait, we didn't want kids right away?
Well, we didn't. Like whenever 100%. We were, I mean, let's talk about it real quick. We can just dive right
Let's
into that.
just dive right into it.
So whenever like people would ask us, be like, oh, like you're engaged, like when are you gonna have kids, like blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, 10 years. Like we always would be like, oh, 10 years, like 10 years, like just joking, obviously, because we didn't want to wait 10
were
years.
We joking? Be honest.
No. I knew it wasn't 10 years.
I was kind of being for real. I'm not going to lie.
I was like, I'm just not ready. Like when I'm ready, we'll be ready. Like that was my 10-year joke was kind of like I didn't want to wait actually 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years was kind of a stretch, but like 5 years was definitely like something I was thinking about.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't like just wasn't ready, so I wasn't thinking about it.
Well, what's crazy is that was like 3 years ago, so we're not too far away from 5 years.
Yeah, probably about 3 years ago. I don't think I feel like we kind of stopped saying 10 years, but like maybe
if you're
4
new to
years
the
ago.
podcast and you're listening, KDB is 25 weeks pregnant today.
Yeah, so we are having a kid. So let's get that out of the room.
Let's get that out of the way right now.
Yeah.
We are having a kid, but when we did get married first, everybody, I feel like that's the first question literally on your wedding day that people are asking you. So you're going to make a baby tonight?
And we literally looked at it. We're like, no, like absolutely not. Like we were cautious on our wedding night.
I'm pretty sure, like, not to be TMI, but like I wore a condom on our wedding
that is
night.
TMI. That's no TMI. That's what
we weren't trying to have a baby, so we were taking every precaution not to.
You just spilled all the tea because I literally was just trying to. I was like, we were cautious. That was my yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let you know how cautious we were. We were that cautious.
Yeah.
With that being said, though,
we made sure because
back then we kept saying we weren't ready to have kids. So like, why would we not take the precautions to not have a kid at that time then, if we didn't think we were personally ready?
So personally for me, and I know everyone has a different timeline. Everyone like things happen. People get pregnant when they're not expecting. I always like growing up, my mom accidentally got pregnant like when she was younger, and it made her life really hard. So I had to watch like the different like struggles, and like she ended up getting a divorce from that person because she got pregnant when she was young. And so growing up, I always saw like what happened when like you had a kid and you didn't want it. And obviously a kid is always a blessing, so don't take this the wrong way. But like for me, I just knew, I was like, when I have a kid,
I would say not that they didn't want it, but just wasn't ready.
Yeah, wasn't ready or wasn't trying for a kid. And for me, I was always like, I want to make sure that when I have a kid, I'm not sad about the pregnancy test. I'm like excited about it just because I grew up watching my mom. And now that's not to say if I ever got pregnant or anything, I wouldn't love the baby or it wouldn't be a blessing. I think everything happens in God's timing. But like for me, I just knew that like I wanted to be so cautious because I saw people in my life have kids and like the struggles that came with it. And I was like, I don't really want to struggle. Like,
I mean, someone personally that had a kid at 16.
Yeah.
So, obviously you've seen those struggles and you were there for that entire journey. So for you to be more cautious totally makes sense. And like,
there was so many young pregnancies in my family.
100%.
Like when I turned 18, it was like, oh my God, she's 18 and she's not pregnant. Like this is accomplishment.
Right.
So like, to me, it just kind of was like, I was so focused on like what we were doing. And I was like, I totally always knew I wanted to have kids with you. Like that was.
No, 100%. Like kids were always in the future. It's just like when we got married, I was 25, KDB was 23. It's just at that time, it's just, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we were like just so doing us. It would like, we weren't ready to have kids. I don't know. No. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why people don't want to have kids. And I feel like we'll come back to this because I feel like some of those reasons are why we didn't want to have kids at the time.
Yeah.
But our 100%. Mindset has like completely changed, and obviously we have a kid on the way and we're so excited about her.
Oh yeah. Because if you guys, I mean, if I'm sure most of you guys know, but we were trying to have a kid. So like this kid was planned.
Yes. Anyways. Okay. So we're going to just get into some of the reasons why. And then we actually took a poll on Instagram. We asked you guys why you guys think people don't want to have kids. So we're gonna read off some of those as well.
So we're gonna get the tea from you guys.
Yeah, we want all the tea.
Y'all are spilling the tea.
Apparently, I spilled too much tea just to start off this podcast. So I feel a little bad about that. So,
hey,
is that hot in here, or is it just me?
That means there's more tea to be spilled.
Anyways, okay. So number one reason is, and apparently people are choosing not to have kids way more often than before. Says Google.
Okay, can I say like why my thought process on that is
Okay.
because I feel like sometimes people put a really negative thing on kids, and don't get me wrong, I know that having kids can be so hard, and obviously I don't fully know because I'm not a mom, but I see other moms, like I know it can be so hard, but I feel like social media, and some social media shows it good, but like a lot of like things nowadays, it's like kids seem so negative. Like it's like your life is over. Oh, get sleep now. Your life is over. Like it's never like, it's always like, oh, just wait until you can't sleep anymore. Oh, just wait until you can't breathe when you're pregnant. Oh, just wait until.
But
this. But it's not.
Imagine getting woken up like when Topper wakes us up. Do we care?
No.
Sure. Sometimes it's
Like,
annoying,
yes.
but like imagine getting woken up by your kid, like something you and your husband or you and your wife created. It's like, why is that a negative thing? Like, sure,
I'm
you're
sure
gonna
it gets
lose
old.
sleep.
I'm sure it's
there's
hard.
gonna be issues like or problems. That's all that comes
But
with
what people-
anything you do. Anything worth doing in life is gonna be hard.
But what people don't say is like most moms and dads, when they wake up, they're not like, shut the hell up, you stupid baby. They're like, oh my God, why is my baby crying? Like it breaks their heart because they love the baby so much. And so like to have that love is such a gift. And I know that people who have kids are like, this is the biggest, everyone always says kids are the biggest blessing in your life. Like they really
Right.
are. So like to me, I know that having kids is going to be so exciting. And I mean, everyone has a choice and I respect
It's
everyone's
funny you
choice.
say that because the number one reason is they just have no desire to have kids. And I did not think that was going to be the number one reason. I thought there was going to be a lot of other reasons before that one. But it reads that people just simply don't want to raise kids for 20 years of their life.
You know, it's funny.
I'm like, wait, so what would you do? I don't know. I feel like you get to a certain age where it's like either you're living in an empty house or you are married and like it's just you and your wife and it's like
you don't
you're
have
gonna
as much
eventually
to do.
want to have kids. I don't know. I just feel like
I feel
I
like
don't know. Raising kids sounds so fun to me. So like I can't relate to that one at all.
So, okay, this is where I can kind of relate to it and then not relate. Is for me, I was never that girl that grew up and is like in high school is like, I can't wait to have babies. Like I can't, and I literally was like, oh my God, like
Okay,
they're
that's
so
different. Yeah, that never crossed as a guy. I mean, that never crossed my mind
well
until
for
like
guys it's normal, but
we were
for,
married and like having kids never even crossed my mind.
for a lot of girls though, like they're so excited. Like, don't you remember even when we got engaged? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like Danny and Lexi and they were all like, no, you can have babies, and I was like, no, not yet. Like I was like, no, like
Too soon,
Like I
too
just
soon.
didn't even. It wasn't like something that I was always like, oh my God, I cannot wait to have kids. Like I always knew it was gonna be such a cool thing in the future when I was ready, but I was like so not ready always. That like for me, it's not that I knew I wanted kids. I just knew like I wasn't like rushing anything. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't relate to this one honestly because I just feel like always I don't know if it's just because that's what most people do. It's just like in my head it was always like there will be kids in the future like
Yeah.
no matter what. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
For-
Because what else would you do? Like I
So
can't
this
imagine
is-
being like 35 like all my homies they all have kids with their wives and I'm just like
I feel like kids.
yeah,
just bring-
like who wants to go to the bar? Like who wants to go golfing or who wants to do this? I have no like obligations.
Here's my outlook on it. And first of all, if you're someone who doesn't have kids, or you can't have kids, or you decided not to have
or
kids,
you're this person and you have no desire to have kids.
We're
like,
not-
by all means, go crazy.
We
Do
are
you?
not making fun of you. We are not dogging on you. We're just like giving our perspective of like what we feel. So it's like it's okay if it's totally different than when you feel. But the thing is
Because we know people that literally
Yeah.
are this
And they're
person, they have
happy.
no
Like, it's
desire to
not
have
like-
kids, and that's totally fine. It's just like obviously we have our own opinion. They have their own opinion.
so
That's what makes us all unique.
for me personally, like I think that my dad said it best. He's always like, yeah, he's like, it's crazy. He's like, when you're a kid, he's like, you just get so much excitement and joy in life. He's like, and then when you're like a teenager, you're going through in like, you're in college, like you're having fun, you're partying, you're being very selfish with your time. He's like, then when you get older, cause my dad didn't have kids till he was like 35.
Right.
He's like, you get your job. He's like, the things that you used to love, like going out, like even like the selfish things, like if you're going to play and I don't mean selfish. I mean selfish with your own time, like doing things for yourself.
Yeah.
He's like going out and playing golfing or like having that free schedule. He's like, it's awesome, but he's like, but it gets old. He's like, that's not until like you have kids. He's like, you feel like you have a total purpose again. And he's like, then you get to relive your childhood through your kids. He's like, Christmas is like the most exciting thing again.
Yeah, because right now, like, Christmas is fun because we get to see family. Like, there's good food.
But it's not like
we get to give gifts.
It's not the same.
I can't imagine when we have little kids and now we're starting our own like Christmas traditions.
And you get to see like the magic in their eyes light up when they see all the presents under the tree. And like, just like even they're like, oh my God, Santa's outside. Look, his footprint. Like just the things that like you get to live through your kids and see the excitement. I mean, think about it. Think of how excited we get when Topper will do something like cute, like as if he's our child when like obviously he's not our, you know, like imagine how excited we'd be if our own child did something like cool, like they walk for the first time or their first time crawling or
100%.
their first word. Like it's like everything's so exciting. So it gives life like so much
this
excitement.
might not be a relatable story, but like for me, this is what like this was before I knew Katie was pregnant, but this is what like solidified it in my brain. I was like, okay, like I'm so ready to have kids because if you guys don't know, I go indoor skydiving to practice my skydiving every single week. And I usually go and I'm like, yeah, like shredding, like with the boys, let's go. And like this one time I went and there was like a little 4-year-old like in the indoor skydiving and just had like the cutest smile. And like I saw the parents outside the tunnel. They were like cheering and like taking videos. And I was like, oh, that is so cute. Like I want like their happiness right now, like it made me so happy. Like I couldn't even think about like skydiving or any like, oh, this is so dope. Like after that, I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like I was so soft. Like
no, like that's
instant softy.
I've actually noticed that. So every time I go to this indoor skydiving place, you see all these parents or grandparents taking their like either grandkids or kids
it's
there.
So cute.
And they're taking like videos of them and you can see the excitement of the parents' face. Like I swear the parents and the grandparents are more excited than the kids are because the kids are happy. So the grandparents are like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. And like that's just what I don't know, that excitement like.
But I imagine that would be like that way for like everything. Like I love sports, like I love playing soccer, but you know, I could join like a fun soccer league, but like I feel like seeing my kid play soccer or something and scoring a goal would like bring so much more excitement than like me going and doing it myself. Like to me, it doesn't.
And that's the thing is you don't always have to give up everything when you're a parent. Like,
I'm not saying I can't go do it myself, but it's gonna bring me way more excitement. Like seeing my kid do it.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna do it myself, I'm sure, but
but you're probably gonna love going to your kid's game more.
Exactly. All right, the next one is interesting. So this is career. People feel passionate about their career they have chosen and want to devote their time, energy, and life to their job, which is crazy because I feel like a lot of people don't like their jobs. So I feel like I'm shocked that's number 2. But like for us, I would say back then we were grinding and we were working so hard and doing so many things. Like the thought of having kids wasn't really even in our plans at that time.
And you know, it's
not
really
because
funny.
of our career, but like we were just doing so much. It's like I couldn't even imagine having a little baby.
Oh, I know. But can we talk about something? And this is tea. This is drama.
Oh God, I'm nervous.
Not even drama or tea.
I already dropped enough tea on this podcast. What is it?
But the thing is like with social media, because like when we like this is just we told someone that we were having a kid and they're like, you're about to blow up on YouTube. Like your ad revenue is going to be crazy. Like this and that.
That was their first comment. I was like,
what?
I was like, bro, like
that's not why you would like, ever have a kid. Like, but don't get me wrong. Like, cause like you guys are very aware, social media loves the family aspect. They love kids. Sure. They love that. If we were to have a kid for YouTube, we would have done that during COVID.
We would have done that shit.
Like we were
way back then.
Yeah, no. But I just think it is funny that like some people can think that like, well, I don't know. Like, do you think people would do that?
I definitely think there's people on social media that would 1,000,000% have a kid just for views.
That makes me sad though.
I don't want anyone to go like, don't assume. I'm not talking about anybody like specific, but like, we follow a lot of people on social media. And it's like, I wonder, you just have that question in the back of your head.
I don't know.
We've made that joke 100%. And it was always a joke, obviously, why we waited so long to have a kid.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't
We
know.
still don't even know. If you guys are listening to this podcast, you already know we're doing it, but we're gonna film every day of Katie B's pregnancy journey. Well,
Oh, yeah.
our pregnancy journey, because she's pregnant, I'm pregnant.
Exactly.
On our YouTube channel, because we used to daily vlog. We want to bring it back. This will probably be the last time we ever like daily vlog every
Yeah.
single day. So leading up to having the baby, and then we don't even know from there on. Like, obviously, we assume we're gonna continue vlogging and stuff, but for us, maybe
Yeah,
we don't even ever show our kid on camera. We really don't know.
I feel like we'll probably end up showing our kid. It's just like I don't ever want to be that person who's like exploiting their kid or making it all about
our people, like the JD fam, that I feel like they know us so well over these years. Like no one comments this about us. Like no one ever says this about this, because I feel like they know how like genuine and pure we are with our stuff on social media.
I agree.
You know, I've seen social media change people for the worse, make people do some weird ass shit. And I'm glad we haven't. Yeah, we've done some crazy pranks. They were fun, but like, you know, you're young, you grow out of stuff like that. But I think for us, I mean, I don't even like talking about that, because I would hate for someone to even think that was an option for us, or something we ever even really truly discussed.
I don't think anyone thinks that,
but I don't
of
think
us.
People think that.
But like sometimes I'll watch people's things and I'm like, bro, there's no way. I'm like, or they'll make like their kids do certain things, and I'm like, I really hope the kids loving and begging their parents to do this, because sometimes like I've tried, like even with my little cousins when they were younger, to like do different things.
Yeah,
and,
we've
like,
tried to get them in a video, and like they don't want to do it, and we're like, all right,
we're like, okay, they don't want to be in it.
But most of the time we ever put like your little cousins in a video is because they want to be.
Yeah,
like,
or they're
in the vlog.
Or they're like begging to be okay. But literally, kids are so funny when it comes to filming sometimes, because like, and that's the thing is like when kids are always on camera, I like hope they love it, because I would feel so bad like if people were like making them be on camera and they didn't want to, because even like I know like I've had like when my little cousins and nieces, they'd be like, oh, I want to be on camera, or even like the neighbors, they were like, oh, I want to be on camera, and then we'd bring out the camera and then they'd run and hide and they wouldn't want to be
like
in.
so shy
like,
and nervous, which is funny because like they wanted to do it, but then obviously we just would never actually put that content out.
That is very interesting, because filming with kids is very like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It is a good one. And moving on is environment. I thought this one was super interesting because like this could sway in so many different ways, but oh wait, this isn't okay. Environment, that one's stupid. I think state of the world is an interesting one, because it's like, you know, like people get scared. It's like, oh, what's happening? Like, what's new? What's gonna, like, AI is coming out. How's this gonna affect my kid? Mm-hmm. And obviously that wouldn't stop me from having kids, but that's definitely something I thought about. We've talked about is like with the school shootings, or like what they're doing like with kids in school nowadays. I'm like, to me, I don't even know. Like, I don't want to homeschool my kid.
The curriculum that they force on kids and things. It's like, if you don't agree with that, and I just feel like everything's changing so much since when we were younger. I mean, I don't know why. Okay, I might get like, okay, I would, if I get hate for this, I get hate for this. But like the fact that like they don't even stand for the Pledge of Allegiance anymore, or like we used to do that every single day. And like to me, I'm just like,
what do you mean they don't stand for like,
or they don't? I don't think they do that in school anymore. Remember how every morning we'd wake up and you would do the Pledge of Allegiance? Yeah, they don't do that. Or really? They'll do it and most kids won't stand for it. Like 2 kids will stand out of an entire. I've seen TikToks. They
just like sit down and chill.
And I'm like, to me, it just kind of makes me sad, because it's like, I am so grateful for the freedom that we have in our country. And like, and not even in like a political way. I'm just like, there's people who've literally died for our country and like served for us. And I just feel like it's so disrespectful. So like, to me, it's like, schools taking out like, oh, that you can't use God in the Pledge of Allegiance or things like that. I'm like, wow. It's just like they keep changing things. And it scares me with how far that they would go. And that wouldn't change my opinion to have kids, but it would change on like, maybe I wouldn't want to put my kids in school, or maybe, you know, like my decisions as a parent.
I know we still got a long time before our little baby girl goes to school. So I'm actually like kind of scared to see like,
I know
how much worse it gets.
The thing is what we have to remember is we are very blessed that like, I think we could homeschool our kids if we had to. So like, it's not like we both have jobs to where that's not an option and we're just bound to whatever. So I feel pretty grateful and pretty blessed with our situation. So it does scare me with where things go with school, but also like, I think in any situation you can make something work.
So that could be an entire podcast, that topic. That I feel like is a fair statement. but it would never stop me.
No, I feel like environment's really, well, I mean, even with COVID, like some people were so scared of COVID.
Yeah, the first one was environment, like pollution and waste, stuff like that, which like for me doesn't.
Yeah, I don't really think
that never crossed my mind, honestly. But I thought the state of the world, I thought that was a very interesting
this is coming from a girl who did use plastic cups and got roasted because I used a plastic cup in a TikTok.
To make her coffee. Like, all y'all Starbucks girls, don't go and get your plastic cups. I don't want to hear it.
No, but I do think it's, wait, what was the one before? You were saying like...
Was environment.
Oh, yeah. Environment. Yeah, that one I wouldn't really think too much of, but like, I thought you meant environment for the baby, like bringing the baby in what environment, like your household environment?
No, this one says some people are so aware of the environmental impact and current state of the earth that they're choosing not to add more people.
Okay, you know what would make me not want, would
How
hold
is that
off?
number 3?
You know,
like, I don't know what Google link I clicked on, but I feel like that's not number 3.
You know what would have stopped me from having a baby though, is actually COVID might have. Not from the fear of, we never really were too scared of COVID.
No.
But from the fact that if I had to give birth without Josh being
By
there, I was like,
yourself?
I don't want to have that moment and not be there. Or honestly, like hospitals were kind of a scary time. So like I would have held off maybe on having a baby
for that situation. That's
but
fair.
it kind of depends.
Fair.
Like maybe we would have if we were in the same like mindset we were, but maybe we would have waited just a little bit longer till like restrictions got like lifted.
Yeah, I would have definitely probably wanted to wait.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5 definitely makes sense. Kids are expensive. On average in the United States, it takes about $250,000 to raise a kid.
You know what's crazy?
Holy shit.
I feel like it's got to be way more than that though.
That's
Even
not including like college or
Labor.
any like extra stuff. That's just like,
Yeah, insurance.
0 to 18, insurance, like food. Just the normal stuff, like the basics.
I gotta be honest, if someone's not having kids because of financial reasons, like I almost feel like that's like them being like maybe like logical, like not logical. Like I don't think you have to have money to bring a kid in, but like if you have a terrible situation,
you have to be aware that like kids do cost money.
Sometimes I feel like that's almost like more selfless of the person and like so nice of them to be like, I don't want to bring a kid into this environment. And that's what I thought you meant when it was like environment. Like if you don't have a good situation, if like you don't think you could give a kid a good life, and that doesn't mean by spending money. You don't have to be rich. You don't even have to make a lot of money to have a kid. But like if you don't think that you can bring a kid
like
into
if you don't think you could
feed
your kid ever, like that's probably an issue.
Then I think that's super. I respect that so much more than someone just having a kid just to have a kid.
Me too.
Because I think you're already thinking like a mom. You're already thinking like an adult who is like, you know what? Like, I don't want to put a kid in this situation. Like, and I mean,
see, when I read that one, I feel like it's more like selfishly. Like, I feel like it's not that like, oh my God, we can't afford a kid. I feel like it's like, oh, screw that. Kids are expensive. I want to save my money.
Okay, well,
that's almost the way I read it. But like the way you look at it makes a lot more sense. And then the way I was reading it is like, that's stupid.
Well, someone just DM'd me, and so this person was like, I want to have another kid, and they were like, I want to have a kid, but I just don't know if me and my husband can afford it right now. Like we both like don't make a lot of money. And they asked me, they're like, what should I do? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell them. Like that's got to be like a personal choice. Cause like, I mean, I don't know their finances, but like, I think the fact that they're even considering that they don't like, you know, like obviously I think it's good to make sure you can afford the baby and the food, but you don't need to buy all these ridiculous things. Like you don't need top-notch products. So if that's what's stopping you, I would say have a kid, but like,
yeah, that's interesting.
If you can't feed them, that's a different story.
Yeah. You know? I mean, there's so many ways you can make money nowadays. I'm sure they'll figure something out.
But if you're not having a kid just because you're like, oh, I don't want to spend my money on having a kid. I mean, everyone has their choice. Like, I can't say like you're in the wrong or.
Think of all the memories, all the life events. Just like think of how much fun it will be.
Think of this. Think of like you working so hard to get something. Maybe it's your dream car. Okay. You work so hard your whole life for it. You finally get it. You're so excited. You're on cloud 9. You have it for a couple months. How does that car make you feel in like 5 years? You really don't care about it anymore. That's how every materialistic thing is. It's always like so exciting right in the moment. And then after, sometimes you even get buyer's remorse. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's not even worth it. Kids, it's like you spend that money, you are never going to think about the money you spent on them because you're going to be so obsessed with them. Like even the money we spent on Topper, like at first, like how much Topper was like it was like 2,000, 3,000.
I can't wait till we have a kid so we can stop comparing having a kid to our dog. But
No,
for now, that's all we got.
But he
right
is like
now.
our little kid. And but all I'm saying is we spent like 2,500 something like that on
Yep.
Topper, right? It seemed ridiculous to spend on a so stupid. If Topper got hurt, I would spend so much money on him and not even think about anything.
What's the limit you would spend on Topper to save him? I don't even answer that because I feel like she's
It's
going to
gonna be
say
high.
a ridiculous
It's
amount of
gonna be
money,
high.
which I'm the same way because that's my boy.
But what I'm saying is like the amount of love, the amount of joy he brings me is it's priceless. Like, and I can only imagine what a kid would,
You know what's interesting to me is like kids or like having a baby. I feel like it only makes me want to work harder, grind harder, make sure we have enough money to give our kid like the best life ever.
I feel like when I have especially like a little girl,
So that's a different mindset on it. I mean, kids are expensive, but like it just motivates me even more to work harder.
I feel like it makes
be
me want
more
to be
successful.
a better person, especially like when our baby girl is here. It's like I don't want to be saying things toxic about people. I don't want to be talking about people. I want to be such a good role model to that way. It's like I am shaping
No drama.
another human being. It's like what she hears from us, the fight she hears from us, the whatever she hears. It's like she's gonna learn and pick up. So it's like I don't know. It like forces me to like want to be just a better person.
And also, I think having a kid brings your marriage way closer.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like just like the intimate moment of like going into labor and delivery, like raising a kid for the first time.
And
like,
raising a kid together. It's like I said, it's not easy.
No.
And I think hard things bring people closer together. So
I agree.
Number 6 is health and medical reasons. So
Okay.
that's a fair one.
That's I mean, 100%. Like you can't. There's nothing you can say to,
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue that one.
And that one is that one's so tough. Like, and that one is so like, it's out of people's control, and it's like, there's nothing. I don't know. There's just nothing you can really.
This is an interesting one. Desire to travel, which is cool. I mean, go out and travel, but like, I don't know. I feel like traveling would get old after a while. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to say because it's not my lifestyle. Like I love traveling, love to travel, but I also
you can
like
travel
being
with
home.
kids.
But some people maybe like, what if you're like a backpacker, like, certain like lifestyles, and that's just like their calling. Like, I guess I understand that. Like, it's not in them to want to have kids.
Right.
So like, I don't know. There are some people who travel, like they just go stay at, they don't have a lot of money, but they stay at like those like places, hostels or things. And not that if you stay at those, you don't have a lot of money, but it's like they travel really cheap and they backpack all the time. And maybe that's just like, they want to do that forever.
Yeah.
So like having a kid like that, it would be kind of impossible to travel
Yeah.
with. But I mean, some people are like, oh, I just don't want to not be able to travel. I think you can travel with kids, but it is a lot more.
It definitely makes it more
a lot more
challenging.
expensive. It's going to make it way
again
harder.
to compare to our dog. Even getting Topper, I mean, it makes it harder to travel. Even having a dog, you gotta either find somebody to watch your dog.
Yeah.
You gotta schedule it around when that availability is.
Yeah.
So it would definitely make things more difficult. So if that's your lifestyle, it makes sense. Number 9 is lifestyle. They don't want to give up their lifestyle, whether it's partying, pursuing certain jobs, or maybe they're a crazy adrenaline junkie like me.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends. I don't think you have to give up your lifestyle. I think sometimes you might have a kid and then realize that you don't really care for that old lifestyle. I think sometimes it's like the idea of losing that lifestyle scares people so much. But
True.
it's even like you in skydiving. It's like, okay, you don't have to stop skydiving because you have a kid, but maybe you're not going to want to go as often, or maybe you might feel differently about it because you have a kid.
Yeah, I already do feel differently about it. I'm not even gonna lie. Every time I go, I'm like, should I be doing this? I got a pregnant wife at home. But at the end of the day, I mean,
You still got to do things you love.
yeah, and there's so many. Yeah, living in fear is just something you never want to do. I mean, if we believe in God, and I believe everything happens in God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so for me to go skydiving, we pray about it, we talk about it. So
I mean, it's dangerous, but
it's dangerous, but I drive on the freeway every single day.
Yeah.
And the amount of accidents I see on the freeway, that scares me way more than skydiving.
Here's my thing with like doing dangerous things is I think you obviously have to have your head on your shoulders and make good decisions and don't do things that are reckless. But also at the same time, you cannot live in fear because everyone's going to get in a car almost every single day. Accidents happen all the time. Even if you don't get in a car, freak things can happen to people. You just don't know when your day could be. So it's like you don't want to live in total fear of never doing anything because something could happen.
Yeah.
You know,
And
because you could be like, I'm never skydiving, I'm never dirt biking, I'm never driving my car.
like
I'm
I
never doing
mountain
this.
bike. There's people that have died mountain biking. Like that doesn't sound like a extreme crazy thing,
No,
but
but
like
but you could be like, I'm never doing that, and then you could be go walking topper on the side of the road, and a car swerves off and hits you.
I was gonna
You
say,
know,
I
like,
ran 5 miles the other day, like down a major road. Like, yeah, I was on the sidewalk, but just take someone to pull over on accident and
Yeah.
run into me or be texting and driving. So,
so it's like make smart choices, but also don't live your life in fear because
yeah, if you
there's no
lived your
reason
life
for
in
it.
fear, I mean, you'd be scared of a lot of shit. So,
Yeah.
obviously, be smart, be wise. But
But having a kid definitely change. I feel like would change
it
perspective.
changes your mindset.
Just
and
because you're like
perspective a
this
lot.
this kid. I feel like your mindset's going to change way
for
more
me,
when the
it's-
baby's born.
for
Because you
me-
can be like, this baby needs me.
Yeah, for me, it's more like it's really not like skydiving is dangerous. It's more so like it's time consuming. Like
Yeah.
for me to leave on a Saturday and be gone for like 5-6 hours when I could be like hang out with my baby. I feel like I'll do it less.
Yeah.
I still think I'll do it, but I'll do it less.
Your priorities just change, but
Priorities
that doesn't
change.
mean that just means you'd want to. You're doing what you want
But that's
to.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because exactly.
Not 'cause you
If
have
I
to.
choose to stay home, it's because I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, timing and partner doesn't want to have kids. That would be tough.
That's really
Can't
tough.
imagine not being on the same page.
I feel like this is something that a lot of people like before you get married, you need to talk about timing. But sometimes people change their timing.
People do switch up, because life changes so
Yeah.
fast in a blink of an eye. Maybe like you guys were getting married and you're like, yeah, we want to have kids. And then like, who knows, maybe you got this crazy promotion at your job and then saw like a really crazy future, but you got to work 60 hours every day or 60 hours a week. And you're like, but I really want this. So maybe
Yeah.
then like the timing and your mindset.
Well, also a lot of times girls want to have kids more because it's a lot that girls have to go through. Like, you had to carry a baby for 9 months and that's one kid. If you want 4 kids, that's going to be like 4 to 6 years. That's 4 years if you went back to back to back. And that could be like, that literally could be 4 to like 8 years, 10 years. So it's a long time of like you putting your body through a lot of work and then like breastfeeding after if you do that and then like raising kids. And a lot of people are always like, it is so much harder to raise kids as you get older. Like obviously there's benefits to both. Like sometimes the older you are, the more money you have, the easier that makes your life. But like physically, tired wise, like a lot of people are like, it's so much easier when you're younger. So a lot of women want to have kids before the guys do because they're like, I'm like, let's have kids later. Like we'll have more money. We'll have this. But sometimes the girls are like, I want to have, kids now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I never really thought about it as like your body thing. I never.
Well,
never really crossed my mind.
Think about
that makes
like
a lot of sense.
think about like okay, a friend of an old couple of friends that one was like ready to get married, ready to have kids because she was older. The guy was
Right.
younger.
Yeah.
He was not in that state at all, but like it makes sense because it's like she's like I want to have kids by the time I'm 30. Like she's like I want to start having kids by the time I'm 30. And that's like, realistic. And
Yep.
and also when you're older as a woman, your chances of like miscarriages and like other things going wrong in the pregnancy, not to say that you can't have a healthy pregnancy, but your chances are higher.
They get higher.
Yeah.
100%. It's just
So it's like
facts.
a lot of girls want to, even for me, like if you didn't want to have kids, if you were like, no, I actually want to wait 10 years, I would have had an issue with that because I would be like, well, I don't want to start having kids when I'm 34.
Yeah, no. Realistically, I feel like we said like realistically
Yeah.
when we were talking about that, we would say 28, 29.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was talking for my own age and I'm 28. So
Yeah, and I knew you
Worked
weren't
out
saying 10
perfect.
years, but that's just what I'm saying is like I could see how people could be off because a guy's like, well, I still want a couple more years of like freedom, quote.
yeah. Yeah.
But
But I
that
still feel like you have freedom. It's
you do, but I don't know. I just think it would be really hard if you were not on the same page. And I know a lot of people aren't. on the same page.
personally, now I'm like, whenever we do something, like I always want like our friends to do it, of course. Cause
Oh, I know.
why not? Like the more the merrier is always been my mindset. And so like when we moved to Arizona, I was like, oh, I want them to move here. Like obviously that's a big like
Yeah.
crazy thing. But now I'm like, Katie's pregnant. I'm like, so when y'all having kids?
I know.
What's up?
I want them all to have kids like now. I'm like, okay, everyone just go have kids. Like, but obviously like when they're ready. But like, I'm like, come on. Let's
But
go.
a couple of the homies getting married, buying
you never-
houses.
And some of the ones saying that the ones that are getting married, they've always been the ones who like are so excited to
bro,
have
they've
kids.
wanted kids for like the last 4 years, I feel like.
So I'm like, okay, so we're gonna be dude.
Or like
Wedding
talked about
night,
it,
we're
but
gonna
not
be like,
been trying.
you guys making a baby? We're gonna be those people asking them when they're gonna have kids.
Oh, 100%. Like I'm 1,000,000% gonna be that person. Like, so you guys making a baby tonight?
Be like, come on. We'll be like, Bracalina needs a friend.
Yeah.
Let's not be selfish
Yeah,
here.
y'all go to your room. Go to your room.
Go to your room.
Go have fun.
In the window. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, okay, we want to read off some Instagram reasons why you guys think people don't want to have kids. So, number one, just popped on it. Annoying. Kids are annoying.
I think kids can totally be annoying. But here's what I've heard, and I'm hoping this is true. Kids are so much more annoying when they're not your kids.
Oh, this is a
and
good
you don't
one.
have a relationship with them and you just hear them crying. You're
From
like,
my
you don't care about
boy Georgie, the man, the myth, the legend. He said, some feel never ready, but you really never are. And some people think they don't got the money.
See, that's actually a good one because this is from Josh's friend Georgie, who had a kid when he was not expecting a kid.
Yep.
I remember when he told us he was having a kid, our whole friend group, we were like, what? Because we were just all shocked.
And those have been like big blessings in his life.
The biggest blessings in his life, and he loves it. And
loves seeing him be a dad. It's so
he
cool.
for sure probably didn't think he was ready at all, and then like had a kid and was like, oh my gosh.
But I agree with that. I really feel like you are never feel like you're ready. Like
No.
I feel like the fact that like in 3 months we're gonna have a baby. I'm like, oh my god, like I don't feel like I'm ready to be a dad. But like
you don't know, you've never
but like
been a dad.
I'm ready to be a dad if that makes sense. But like
Yeah.
I don't feel. I'm like.
I don't feel like
I
because
don't know how
you're
that makes
not
sense.
yet.
It doesn't
you
make
know?
sense. It's contradicting myself.
You'll never
but
feel ready.
I feel like you'll never feel ready. And then I do feel like a lot of people think they don't have the money.
Yeah.
But you just got a budget. And I feel like when you're having a kid, it's like just gives you that much more motivation.
Yeah.
And you will figure it out.
You know
like
what's
you're
crazy?
literally fending for somebody else at that point.
My
like
sister's
you will figure it out.
My sister's a good example of that because like when she first started having kids, like she really didn't have money. Like she didn't like have like a really good job or anything. She didn't go to college for it. But then what's crazy is she ended up having 4 kids and now she has all 4 kids on her own. So she like hustled her way and like she didn't really like have like a good like crazy job or really like even like I don't know, she didn't like work that much. It wasn't like in her desire. Then she had kids and I swear like a light switched in her and like she was like hustling. She hustles at her job so hard to where now she makes a pretty good money, enough money to take care of 4 kids and to do anything for those 4 kids.
It's insane.
So it's like Jasmine's like even like in her mindset, like I feel like she would be like, I could have a 5th kid because she would make it work because she loves having kids so much that like the money thing isn't really an issue. It makes things hard, but she's hustled so hard for 4 kids. Take care of 4 kids by yourself. That's so impressive. Like that's so cool.
I agree. She's
She's killing it.
Okay. Somebody said I didn't want kids because I had a horrible example as a child and didn't know what parenting looked like.
Okay, I've heard that before.
Oh, should look like. I didn't know what parenting should look like.
That's fair. Like
That's interesting.
I think that's a fair thing. And
feel-
sometimes people don't want to have like a daughter or a son, like a specific gender, because they didn't like the relationship that they had with their mom or their dad.
Interesting.
But then some people want it to like show their kid what it should be like.
That's very interesting. I mean, I don't feel that way personally, like from my parents, but like I still do feel like I don't know how to be a parent. Like I've never been a parent before, so like that's going to be an interesting learning experience for us.
Yeah.
I feel like,
But that's something
it's different for every relationship, I'm sure. But
you can't really argue that though, because like when you've had a good childhood, like Josh B and I have been very blessed with like really amazing parents that like you can't really say like, oh, well, like just be good, because it would be hard if you've never had a loving parent or good examples or even like family friends of people around you to show you like what a good like parenting skills would be. I don't know. But I also think that you can learn, like if you just work on yourself and like you don't have to be like your parents, you can be you're a totally different person than your parents.
100%.
So you could give them a totally different
and you
perspective.
can take, what you didn't like and, make it totally different for your kid.
Yeah. I think I've also heard some people not wanting kids because they're so scared of how their childhood was, or like maybe they grew up with an alcoholic father, alcoholic mother, that they're so scared that they don't want to bring another kid into like that world or like that family. And they're so scared that they're going to repeat their parents' actions.
Well, that goes along with the next one is fear of failure.
Yeah.
Which is a big one, but I don't know. I don't love it because just living in fear, I feel like a lot of people live in fear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, we are going to fail as parents.
Okay, but
I'm sure a bunch of times, but we're going to learn from it.
What parent hasn't failed
and move
before?
on.
Even
Yeah,
the
like
best
every
parents,
parent
like
has failed before.
every parent has made mistakes. They're human. We all make mistakes.
Some bigger than others.
Yeah.
But especially as a family, like, you work through that stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why they always say like family over everything, because your blood, like you're going to figure it out. You're going to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to read some different ones here. Again, we're reading these from Instagram.
I will say though,
question box, and you guys are just throwing in your personal comments on it.
Babysitting makes you like almost not want to have kids sometimes, unless you grow close to the kids. But like sometimes kids can be so annoying and so much work. But I really believe like when they're not your kids, it's a lot more, and we don't have a connection, and you're too young to be like babysitting them, and like you just don't care as much. Versus like when you're an adult, you're like, oh, like this kid is having a meltdown because of like he must be overtired or he must be like this. Rather than when you're like a teenager, you're probably like, oh my god, shut up, you're so annoying.
Right. Someone said can't afford a good life for them, which I feel like I respect it.
Yeah.
But that you're bringing a baby into the world, like they don't. What do you mean a good life? I guess it would be like as long as you can feed the kid and take care of the kid, you can still give a kid a good life without a lot of money. Like I guess it depends what you consider a good life.
Yeah.
But
I think as long as you can feed and put a roof over their head, then that's a good life.
100%.
And love them.
100%.
Take care of them. I think that's a good life.
Someone said they cry too much. That is a valid point. They probably do cry a lot.
I feel like it's got to go by so fast. So even seeing like my little cousins who aren't even like that little anymore, like my one little cousin who always just seems like so little to me, but now he's 16 and driving. Like it's like, it goes by so fast. Then they're like totally an adult.
Someone said to enjoy their couple time. That's an interesting one. Because I feel like it just brings you closer as a couple. And then when you do have a kid, you will be forced to make certain couple time where you really sit down and enjoy it even more. Yeah. Because you're so busy.
Yeah, because some people are like I don't know. It makes me like I'm like I really do want to take in this last couple months of just me and you, but like not really, because like when I think like that, I'm like, yeah, but it's always gonna be me and you. It's gonna be me and you with our kids. Like it's gonna be me and you always first. Like it's like I still want to have that same relationship, that same like me and you time. Obviously, it's gonna be harder because you're gonna have to specifically cut out time where it's just us. Yeah. Like going on dates and stuff. But like I still want to do that. Like I still look forward to doing that. But it does make it a little harder, I think, when you do have kids.
100%. We want to know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe. Give us reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please. Helps us so we can film more podcasts for you guys. Oh yeah. Do you have anything to say before we outro?
We want kids. No, just kidding.
We have a baby girl coming in 3 months. We're so excited. We're going to be sharing the journey with you guys on our YouTube channel. You guys can go check it out at JD Vlogs.
Daily vlogs coming
Daily
your
vlogs
way.
Are back, baby. This may be the last time ever for daily vlogs. So make sure you guys watch them. Stay up to date. And new podcast every Saturday at 11 a.m. PST. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.